Hey guys, in today's episode, we're going to cover what got me into esports in the first place, as well as kind of diving into what the process has been like for me, not only in esports, but also in content creation. Hope you guys enjoy this. Peace. So what made me decide to get into esports, and how has the process been? So growing up, the only games that ever gave me any real satisfaction were games I played in like a PvP style arena. PvP or player versus player. It's not fun for me just to casually play. Although there's game like if I'm like warming down or if like cool, that's another case. But for the most part, like I don't really get enjoyment out of that. When there's no purpose and there's no objective, and you're kind of just like, for lack of a better term, dicking around. There's a time and place, but mostly it doesn't really make me happy, And so because it comes to a point where I've gotten to my individual skill has gotten to a point not where it's perfect, and there's always something I can continue to learn, but it gets to a point where individual skill is not as important versus how you communicate with a team, and communicating with a team also means listening to your team. Listening to where they're at, watching where they're at, watching their play style, adapting to that, and coming together to form a common goal and to like have this like natural synergy between each other. And there's something that's just really fun about building that out. It's a challenge, and we get frustrated, and it's like we're very honest with each other, and so think of it like a high-paced game of chess, because at the same time you're doing this, you're also focusing on mechanics, trying to outplay the other team, and also trying to outsmart the other team, which in the game that we're competing in is a very hard thing to do. And so it's a lot of fun getting to do that. And so now that I have the opportunity to, I am, because back in the day when I first started playing online play, well, really when online play came out for Xbox, which is with Halo 2, which is 15 years ago. Happy birthday, Chief. It was a much different time, and the stigma that surrounded gaming was very much like you're a nerd and you're wasting your life and you're not going anywhere. You're just a basement dweller, And it was the opinion about gaming and the stigma around gaming was a lot different than it is today. Like now, it's the coolest thing you can do, and everyone knows who Ninja is, and everyone knows what a Fortnite means. And so, especially with my family, they didn't really understand, and they thought the same thing. They thought I was just wasting my life away. And so I never even thought, because there was a point where I got invited to actually be a substitute for a pro team, or not pro team, but a semi-pro team in Halo 2, and I never even asked. And it was confirmed by my family later that I was probably right. It was probably good that I didn't ask, but because it would not only would have been a no, but it would have been a hell no. There was no way my family was going to let me go to Dallas to play play video games with a bunch of strangers I met on the internet. I mean, think about that. Those who remember that time, it's like that's kind of how it was. Like, there's no way that was even going to come close to happening. So now that like I'm on my own and I'm funding this myself, and it's now it's a cool thing to do, and there turns out you can make a career of it. I'm doing it, and guess what? My family's my biggest supporter now. Pretty cool. How's the process been for me? So it's been difficult, in really one way, because the hardest part has already been taken care of. Somehow 4 players who were just as willing, dedicated, and had just as good a skill level, and some of them better than me, all just kind of fell into my lap, and who were all motivated for the same purpose and the same goal as I was. And to find that, especially with people all across the world, or all across the country, really, in this case, with different lives, different time schedules, different things they have going on, to find that is like a dime a dozen. And for that to just to fall in my lap, like that's how I knew this was the right thing, So that process, that has been easy, which is usually what a lot of people struggle with. And you know what? We're all pretty good guys, and we all understand how to give and take feedback, and it's pretty dope. You can't put a price tag on that. It's just ridiculous. The hardest part for me has been time management. Really, like, because what I do is, right now I live on my own. I pay for all my bills. I pay for, I raised my dog. I'm actively training her. I participate in my own recovery. That's actually the foundation of everything. That comes before everything. Family, dog, work. Because without that, literally none of this is possible. So I have to do that. And also, somewhere I gotta try and fit a social life in there. Cook my own meals and find some downtime to relax. And so, well, grab the last part. What I recently started last year, creating content on Twitch, posting on Twitter, staying active, networking, all that good stuff. Like, that stuff takes a lot of time. And so what I've really started to learn is that when I'm at home, I waste a lot of time when I'm at home. Changing little small things it doesn't really seem like it saves you that much time, but it saves you momentum, and it swings the momentum in the opposite direction of moving forward versus being a couch potato. And so that's been the hardest part is incorporating that into my schedule and also communicating that to my audience as like what I'm going to do, why some of my streams are changing, why the times are changing, why sometimes it's inconsistent. So it's a difficult thing to do that, but I mean it's amazing, and so I'm finally finding my stride. I'm finally figuring out that nothing is constant, everything's always changing, and I'm starting to find some comfort in that and really looking at how I manage my time better. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the podcast today. It would mean the world if you guys gave this a like, follow, share, subscribe. I'm not sure, honestly, still how it works here on Anchor, but I do know this also uploads to Spotify once I do publish it. So if you do have Spotify Premium, and would love if you gave me a follow in there. Also, if you're not following me on any other socials, it's at Boonafide Gaming. Same thing as the podcast, or Boonafide part. On Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, we're almost at the custom link. We're about 50 subscribers away. So it would mean the absolute world if you gave my channel a subscription or subscribe to the channel. I look forward to uploading the next one tomorrow. Hope you have a fantastic day. Peace.